Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan. Today in this video, we're going to be diving into Chris Coolmod's brand new RetroBeast 24TB plug-and-play game drive. Now, I reviewed a lot of Chris Coolmod stuff in the past, always had a great experience, so that makes me even more excited to dive into this today to see exactly what this has to offer. And there's a bunch of new key features on here that I do believe is going to set this apart from everything that he's done in the past, including he's gone through and revamped the ROM sets on here to actually remove duplicates. And now Chris has always been good about not having a ton of duplicates, but sometimes you do find multiples of the same game. And that's something that if you've seen any of my reviews, I talk about till I'm blue in the face. It drives me nuts on game drives. And again, I'm not talking about Chris's stuff. I'm just talking about game drives in general. You end up seeing 5, 10, sometimes 15 or 20 of the same exact game. I'm not talking about different versions of it like PlayStation, Dreamcast, N64. Maybe there's a arcade port to the game as well. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about literally the same exact version over and over again. So that's not going to be the case here. He's gone through his ROM sets. He's cleaned everything up beautifully on here. Now, I'm going to read off some of the other key features on here. First off, he's got new desktop launchers. He's got a one-click gaming driver installation. That means that you don't have to go online and search for a wide range of different drivers, bring them into your computer in order to get things up and running. Everything that you need to play the games is included on the drive. So you have one click and you go through that installation process, which just streamlines everything tremendously. Now, we also have on here a new launcher engine. We have high definition media and art with 4K upscale support, which is pretty incredible. We have emulation ROM sets that have, again, as I mentioned, been totally optimized and duplicates have been removed. We also have multi-screen and effects on here. So if you're going to use something like this on an arcade cabinet, that means that you can get graphics on your main screen. You can also get it to your digital marquee if you wanted to go that route, if you have that brought into the mix on your setup. So really cool stuff here. There's an extensive library, there's storage, flexibility as well on here. So we're gonna actually go ahead and dive into this. We've got two boxes right here. We have our enclosure as well as our hard drive. I'm gonna actually start opening this up right here, right now. All right, so I just went ahead and opened this up. Inside here, we're going to find instructions. And I believe he always throws in decals and stuff like that. Awesome, he did. So we got some stickers on here as well. All right, so we're gonna just open this up here. More stickers. Chris loves his stickers. And he's got a nice sticker right on top there as well, which looks really sharp. I love the way that looks here. RetroBeast Let's Play Multi-Retro Arcade System Drive. This is a 24 terabyte drive here. And then the other box is simply our enclosure. So you could install this internally in a PC, but we're going to take the external route here today since we have this provided. And now this is a Sovereign external hard drive enclosure right here. So name brand, we have the power switch right here. We have the connection, which we're going to make over to the PC. And then we have our power supply connection right there. So we will find inside the box here all the necessary cable connections. So we also have a little screwdriver included in here as well. I'm going to go ahead and install the 24 terabyte drive inside of that enclosure. We're going to fire it up on my PC and we're going to tour through the entire thing here. All right, guys, here we are jumping into the 24 terabyte RetroBeast setup here from Chris Coolmod. We're going to go ahead and tour through the entire thing here. So first off, the really amazing thing about this whole setup is this took me 2 minutes to set up. Just as advertised, literally 2 minutes from when I plugged the drive into my PC to where I am right now. So we're kicking everything off with the Atari 2600 collection here. We've got next to that the 5200 collection. Now, I don't see any count for how many games are included on each of these collections, but I'm sure these are pretty extensive. So we're just going to jump in here. There we go. We got 73 titles in here. You can see at the bottom right corner. I love the fact that we have our game list on the right with logos here, beautifully put together. As we highlight each one, if we go down to Castle Blast, for example, we get some of the cover art in the background there, but we also get a video preview on the left-hand side in the screen. And it's all tailored to the console that we're diving into. So Atari 5200 is displayed across the top. Down on the bottom, we actually have the controller there in hand. We got Pac-Man up on the top. So really excited about this. We're going to actually back out of this collection though. There we go. We have the Atari 7800 here next. We'll jump in here. I like seeing the difference from collection to collection. You'll notice that it is slightly different. We have a different character up there at the top. We have a different logo up there at the top because it's a different collection. And we have a different screen as well. So we'll back out of this one. We have Flashback Classics here. We have Jaguar over here. 64-bit from Atari. We have Jaguar CD. We have ColecoVision. We have Dreamcast Indies, which is pretty cool. Let's dive into this collection. Just take a quick peek. So again, very easy to locate everything. We're not going from just a simple text list. We have the logos here. I really love that. I saw that the regular Dreamcast collection is next. I definitely want to dive into that one because Dreamcast is one of my favorite retro game collections of all time. So let's go over here to Dreamcast. Let's see how many titles inside the Dreamcast collection. 308. Look at that. We got the controller down there. We have video preview. We have all of our titles easily accessible here on the right-hand side. Four Wheel Thunder, such a great game. What else do we have in here? So we get some Alone in the Dark, Aqua GT. This is like Hydro Thunder, which is one of my favorite games on steroids. I mean, this is an incredible title here. And Chris always does a great job of finding the best titles in here. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. I totally forgot about this game. My kids love Toy Story. My son especially loves Buzz Lightyear. So that's one I'm going to have to dig out and play with him. Let's keep it moving though. I saw some Capcom versus SNK up there at the top. Chicken Run. I don't even remember this. You know, I do remember. I remember the cover art of this. I don't think I ever played this game. Funny movie though. Confidential Mission. Great game. Now, this is a light gun game, and light guns are 100% compatible with this game drive as well. Now, I'm actually between light guns right now, so I'm not going to be able to demo light guns for you guys today. I'm waiting on my brand new Reaper light gun from Retro Shooters. So I actually reviewed that when it first came out, and then part of the whole program of sharing it with content creators, I actually sent it on to the next content creator, and I'm waiting to get that gun, the one that I get to keep back. So should have that very soon, and I'll dive back in here. So we get some ECW Anarchy Rules, Just Incredible right there on the top cover with RVD and Sandman. Actually, Just Incredible will be here in my studio tomorrow. So small world on that one. Great titles in here. Loving this. Got my all-time favorite game, Gauntlet Legends. And this is how I would play it too. If I can't play the arcade version, which we probably can, I'm sure he's included that in here, but this would be the best home console version of that game. So let's back out of this collection. We'll keep it moving. We've got some more Dreamcast Atomic Wave over here. We've got Nintendo GameCube. We got to jump into GameCube. How many titles inside GameCube? 638 games in here. So this is where 24 terabytes really comes to life and really helps us out because I've never seen that many GameCube games in a drive, setup like this. So one of my all-time favorite games right there from Russia with Love, but I also love Agent Under Fire, which we saw up here at the top. Great 007 titles. We'll keep it moving here. Let's see. And I'm sure we have all of our classic Nintendo games in here as well, like Mario Kart Double Dash. Let's scroll down a little ways and see. Metroid Prime, I'm sure, is in here. But we'll scroll all the way down to the M titles at least. We'll comb through those. I want to make sure that we have all of those. I saw Crash Bandicoots in here. Wow. We'll be here a while doing this because there's so many great games. We got all the Donkey Kong titles for GameCube in here as well. Now, there is a way that you can actually just jump to the letter that you're looking for, but I'm happy to tour through all this because I'm getting a rapid fire shot at what we have included on here. And there's a lot of great titles. Italian Job, that takes me back right there. Kirby Air Ride's a great one. Wow. So many good games on here. I saw the Legends of Zelda on here. Some Lord of the Rings titles. Now these actually, I've been meaning to play some of these because it's been a while since I've done that. And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan myself, but look at the graphics. I mean, for like 2002, 2003, for some of these titles, the graphics were really Absolutely incredible. Lotus Challenge is a great racing game as well. Luigi's Mansion, got to have that in here for GameCube. A bunch of Madden titles. There we go. Here's our Mario game. So Mario Golf, Toadstool Tour. We have Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Party 4, 5, and 6, and 7. We have Mario Power Tennis, and we have Mario Superstars Baseball in here. I mean, what more could you ask for? And I'm sure we have, we'll check out, see if Metroid Prime's in here as well. There it is, Metroid Prime Echoes as well, sequel. Great. So let's go back. Let's see what else we have. We have Sega Genesis coming up next. Sega Genesis Classics. This is the Steam edition, it looks like. We have Mega CD. Let's see what else we have here. We have some Mega Drive over here and television, Neo Geo SNK, Neo Geo CD, Neo Geo X. We have Neo Geo Mini. We have N64, N64 HD. Wow. Let's take a look at N64 HD here real quick. So GoldenEye. So these are going to be enhanced. These are going to look much better. So how many titles in this? There's 69 in here. Let's go back and see how many in the main N64 collection. Inside here, we're going to have 305. All right, pretty sweet. We've got our wrestling games here. Oh, you got to be kidding. We got the WWF Legends Challenge 64. Man, Chris knew what I was looking for because I did a video on this a while back. And this is absolutely an incredible game here. So blown away that that's included on here. I've never seen this included on any of these game drives before. It's always been a standalone download, which is relatively easy to actually set up for yourself. Put it on your desktop, you have it, right on there. But love the fact that he's brought that into the mix on here. That is bonus points for you, Chris. Love that. We've got all the classic WCW titles here. Very cool. So we don't have Raw, no, Raw. Nitro, there it is right there. I was going to say, we don't have WCW Nitro, but it is here. Tried to get you on that one, Chris, but you added it in there. Not crazy about that game, but you got to have it in there if you're going to put all the other games in. So Super Mario, StarCraft, love Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. That's one of my favorites as well. Battle for Naboo is in here. Wow, just look at the sharp layout and design here. I love the characters wrapped around the TV screen. This is incredible. So we're going to back out and keep it moving because we have a lot to cover here. NES games. Let's just see how many NES games are in here. So 858. Now this I love because it's less numbers than what we get on like a Kinhank drive. If you go into an NES collection on Kinhank's products, I guarantee you what you're going to find is probably 2,000 to 4,000 games in there. And it's littered with duplicates. It's littered with tons of crap that you have to comb through. 858 is manageable. You're going to find all your favorite games in here, but you're not going to have the clutter and excess. So I love that. We have the NES Classic Edition as well. Panasonic over here. We got some PC Engine CD-ROM, regular PC Engine, PCFX, Phantom System. Let's dive into Phantom System here. See what we have. There we go. Wow. All your classics in here as well. And you'll find these titles obviously in other collections as well, but definitely cool that that's included. Philips CD. We got Duck Station here, PlayStation. How many original PlayStation games do we have? We've got 1,708 laid out beautifully. Video previews are rocking and rolling. I love it. Now, I saw PS2 is next. How many PS2 games? 1,916 PS2 games. I mean, right there, it is worth buying this entire drive. That's a massive amount of PS2 games. I don't think I've ever seen that many in a game drive before, outside of Chris Coolmod's control. This is amazing. So let's go up a little bit. Now, did we have, give him the ultimate test here. Let's go the right direction first. Do we have our WWE titles? Because you got to have in here, Just Bring It, Shut Your Mouth, and Here Comes the Pain. We've got them all. Incredible. We've also got all the SmackDown versus Raw games on here. We've got Crush. I mean, if you have Crush Hour, which is a terrible game in my opinion, if you've got that, you've got it all. All Stars is a great game too. I always enjoyed that. Really nice stuff here. All right. I'm going to seek out one title. I want to know if we have the Max Payne games. If we have that, I'm going to say that he's probably got everything in here. And with a game list, I mean, a game count of 1916 here, I think it's safe to say that Chris has included everything imaginable in this game drive. So I'm going to just scroll up here. And again, look at that. Time Crisis, Crisis Zone, Time Crisis 3, Time Crisis 2. Time Crisis 2 still to this day is my all-time favorite Time Crisis game. And these you can play with a controller. You can also play with a light gun. So really cool stuff. Now, remember, you can jump to the letter that you're looking for. So like I want to go up to M, obviously, to check out Max Payne. But the reason I'm choosing to not go that quicker route is because I'm actually enjoying just scrolling through these rapid fire right now and seeing what's included. We see we have a ton of Star Wars games here. SpongeBob games, Spider-Man, Soul Calibur. Whoa. It's so fun too. And he's got the video preview. So I've not seen this with the video preview. I think one drive that I've reviewed had the Sopranos Road to Respect game, but didn't have a working preview, which you have to manually do because it won't scrape properly. So kudos to Chris on that one as well. This game, you know, it could have been so much better than it was, but as a huge Sopranos fan, I still love the game just because it's Sopranos. I mean, is it, you know, as good as like Grand Theft Auto? Is it as good as like the Scarface game? Absolutely not. But still, for a Sopranos head like me, it's a must-play game. So if you like Sopranos, play that. But here's the other one I was just mentioning, Scarface, The World Is Yours. This game's incredible. One of my favorite games. I used to play it not for PS2, but for original Xbox. Either way, phenomenal game. If you like Grand Theft Auto, blood and guts, shoot 'em ups, check out Scarface. You will not regret it. So we're Wolfenstein. Wow. Just seeing these titles flash before my eyes is so much fun. All right, so we're getting closer. By the time we get up there, I'm going to forget what I'm looking for, but Max Payne is what I'm looking for. And I'm sure it's on here. I have no doubt in my mind. But in fact, if you like Max Payne, you're going to love Scarface. So definitely check it out. So here we go. We're about to come up on it. Lots of sports games on here, just loaded with NBA, NFL, NHL, NASCAR. Narc just went by. That's a cool one. MVP. The Mummy games in here too. Wow. So this game, I keep meaning to play this game, and I've booted it up. I've played a little bit, but I've been meaning to jump into this. The Mummy Returns is a good one, but then there's also the Mummy for original PlayStation. All right, so let's see. MotoGP, Monster Jam. There we go. So not only do we have Max Payne 1 and 2, but we have Matrix Path of Neo, another game that I'm forgetting about until I just saw it on the list here. But Max Payne 1 and 2 is in the PS2 collection. Let's back out. We got to keep it moving. I took a lot of time on that one, but well worth it in my opinion. We've got PS3. How many PS3 games do we have? We've got, wow, 1,143 PS3 games. And we're kicking it all off with 007 Legends here, which is a great game. Always loved how you can kind of make that first-person shooter, as you see right there. One of the best 007 first-person shooters, in my opinion. Really cool. 1,143 games for PS3. And we're kicking it all off with 007 Legends, which is a great game as well. Let's kind of comb through here. We got some 50 Cent over here. We've got AC/DC Live, Afro Samurai, which I love, but I never demo on here. I think I did once, and learned very quickly that the colorful language will get you in trouble on YouTube. So never play that game on YouTube, but one of my favorites. We've got, wow, so many great games. Army of Two. There were a couple of these. There we go. And of course he's got them in here. Wow. Assassin's Creed. Bunch of Assassin's Creed games in here. Avatar. Back to the Future. Now, this is a cool game right here. Baja Edge of Control. Some Guitar Hero. Batman. A lot of Batman. BioShock games. Wow. So PS3, I missed out on a lot of those titles. So I've played the majority of the PS3 games that I've played in my life through emulation because at the time of PS3, I just wasn't gaming as actively as I had been in the past. So you got all your Call of Duties in here, Modern Warfare, great game. Love playing that game. Modern Warfare 2, probably my favorite. Yeah, it's tough, man. They're all so close. So I mean, there's games in here. I saw some Pixar cars there. Civil War. I've never even heard of that. Civil War Secret Missions. Graphics look great on that. I'm gonna have to try that out. I'm into stuff like that. You know, weird games like that. We got Dirt. Dirt are great games as well. Wow. A lot of this stuff is new to me. This is not what you typically find on these game drives. Usually PS3 is going to have like 7, 8 titles at the most on a game drive. Chris has 1,143. It's insane. And we're only down to the D titles, but we got to keep it moving here. We're going to back out. Next over here, we have PSN. All right. Let's see what we have in here. So this is, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here too. Now, this is a lot of stuff I'm not familiar with, but definitely would be cool to play. DuckTales, you got me at DuckTales. Huge fan. We've got PS3 minis here. We've got PS4 Pro. What do we have in PS4 Pro? 81 games in here. Badlands. Broken Sword 5 is an interesting one for sure. Only played a little bit of that recently as well. See what Godzilla is all about. Haven't played that one. Looks interesting. All right, we're getting back out of this one. Let's see what PS5 has for us now. So PS5, how many games? Just one, and it's Play Night. Okay. All right, so we'll have to check that out. Back out, we have Satellaview, we have Sega 32X over here, Sega CD, Mark III, Sega Saturn. How many Sega Saturn games? Just curious. 303, pretty sweet. Wow. So many, I mean, the best of the best on here. Virtual Boy, Wii. So big Wii fan, especially with emulation. I mean, you get the true experience with this. So let's see, how many Wii games? 1,274. We've got Quantum of Solace here, which is cool to play. And you can use original Wii hardware on here. So you can use, original Wii controllers on here. You would need a different sensor bar, but everything else will work with that new sensor bar. So we got some wrestling in here as well. Wreck-It Ralph. Great stuff. Your sports games are in here. Very impressive. And there's great light gun games. But before I comment on that, I did see our next collection is Wii Light Gun. So he made his own category for that, which we're going to jump into here. There's 57 light gun games. And let me tell you, I've played all of them. They're great. Attack of the Movies 3D. Definitely interesting. I mean, some of these are kind of cheesy, but they're still fun. Big Buck Hunter Pro, great. That's probably my favorite one. All the hunting ones are really cool. All the Cabela hunting ones here. There's also some, let me see if they're in here. They might be in a different category. I think it's Remington that makes the bird ones. Conduit's good. Toy Story Mania is a lot of fun. My kids enjoy that one. Gunslingers, there we go. And Heavy Fire Afghanistan is actually pretty cool as well. Then if you're a Zelda fan, Link's Crossbow Training is pretty cool. Wow. Lots of amazing stuff. So Reload, is it Reload? No. Remington Great American Bird Hunt. This is a lot of fun. If you like hunting games, very casual experience here, but those are a lot of fun as well. And I don't think I've ever played the Alaska one here. I'm going to have to check that one out. But you have the Resident Evil titles as well. You've got the House of the Dead Overkill, which is great. Top Shot Arcade. Wii Play, which is mainly just like target shooting, but really great stuff here. So we're going to keep it moving. We've got WiiWare, we've got Wii U. All right, let's check out Wii U. So we got some 007 Legends there. Angry Birds, a bunch of those. Batman titles. Call of Duty. And there's 204 games here. We've also got DuckTales here as well, which is how I've played DuckTales. We've got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Fast and Furious. Played that recently. That's a great game. I think you can get that on Switch as well, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. We got some Kirby. We got some Kung Fu Panda. Of course, you got to have your Zelda titles in here. Batman galore. There's always a ton of Batman titles. Excuse me, Lego title. I don't know why I said Batman. Well, because there's Lego Batman there. But tons of Lego titles here. I don't think I ever played this one, though. Force Awakens from Star Wars. Pretty cool. Mario Kart 8, of course. Tennis, Ultra Smash. That's probably I always love tennis games. So if you can combine Mario with tennis, it's a win for me. So we'll back out of this one. We'll keep it moving. We got the Wii U shop. We got original Xbox and Xbox DLC. And, oh, it just gets better and better. Okay. Original Xbox. We got to dive in here. I'm a huge original Xbox fan. 982 games. So you're going to have a lot of the same titles as like PS2, for example. But for me, this resonates more than PS2. And that's why I'm okay with, when I talk about duplicates, I'm not talking about titles that were released for multiple platforms. So I don't care if there's the same title in here for PS2 as original Xbox, because you're always going to have people that grew up playing on PS2 or grew up playing on original Xbox. I happen to be an original Xbox guy. So, you know, this is how I would choose to play. Like the Backyard Wrestling games, they were released for both consoles, but I would play them for Xbox because that's how I played back in the day. Keep it moving here. Batman titles. I'm sure we have Halo. We got to see if we have Halo. I saw Black was up there. That's a great game. Burnout titles. Cabela, Call of Duty. Celebrity Deathmatch I saw was up there. So not everything is scraped. I will say that. Some of them are. The majority are, it seems. But not all of them. We'll Crash Bandicoot. So I'm looking for Halo. I saw Dead to Rights. Those are great games. Doom, great game. Dynasty, wow. Lots of sports games too. Fable, Far Cry. Lots of FIFA titles. Fight Club, Fight Night. All right, we're closing in on Halo here. I'm sure Halo's here. And then got to go back up. Gauntlet 7 Sorrows, great. Now this is a game I actually played for PS2 instead of Xbox. So maybe I would experience it over here for Xbox. Gauntlet Dark Legacy, had that for GameCube back in the day, but it's great on any platform. So Grand Theft Auto titles are in here. Gun is a great game. Half-Life 2 is a great game. Halo, Combat Evolved, exactly what I was looking for. The most classic original Xbox game there could possibly ever be. And then Halo 2. Well, you know what? Halo 2, some people will put ahead of Halo 1. I think just they're both great games, but I would lean. Oh, that's tough. I would probably lean Halo 2 actually. Now that I think about it, but there's something about the first one. I mean, it's the first. Heroes of the Pacific is a cool airplane fighting sort of game. Hitman Blood Money, Hitman Contracts, Hitman 2, Silent Assassin? I think it was called. Sweet. Wow. All right, so we got to keep it moving, because I saw a lot of great stuff. We got Xbox DLC. We got to just at least take a quick peek inside here. There's 96 titles for Xbox DLC. Very cool. This has been all of our home console collections. So now if we're on our computer, we do our arrow key down, we go down to the handheld collections. So down here we have Atari Lynx, we have Nintendo Game & Watch, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, different Game Boy Color collection. And I see that we have two handhelds there, so it must be like multiplayer games. I'm guessing we have Game Boy Original with the multiplayer deal there. So let me see what the deal is here. Let's go into this. So 13 titles in here. Well, let's go over to this collection. Let's see how many titles in here. It's got to be quite a few. 841. So I would say so. Pretty stacked there, but you can see Sega Game Gear over here. We have GP32, Mega Duck. We have Neo Geo Pocket, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Nintendo 3DS. Let's take a look at 3DS here. 584 3DS games. Insane. Back out. We have 3DS eShop. We have Nintendo DS. How many DS games do we have in here? Looks like 2,102. All right. Keeping it moving, we have Sega Nomad. We have, wow, look at all these collections, man. PSP. Let's jump into PSP. It's one of the more advanced ones here for handhelds. 790 games. And these are true PSP games here. I'm sure there's some minis thrown in, but we have PS Vita over here. And there is 314 PS Vita games. Incredible. Super Game Boy, Nintendo Switch, Wonder Swan Color, Wonder Swan, and then let's go down to the next category down here, which is Computer Classics. Let's just see, actually, before we dive into Computer Classics, we also have PC games, and we also have imports in here. Wow. Game extras. We have the magazines and the book manuals. Board games. Okay. Arcade. So this is where you're going to find your light gun titles. And then we have our custom collections, fan-made games. And then over here we have favorites, arcade. Oh my gosh, this just never ends. I thought we were almost done. We're nowhere near done. All right, so we're going to go through. I got to speed it up a little bit, or this is going to be like a 4-hour video. Computer classics. All right, let's go into computer classics here. We have all of our categories here. So you're going to find your Amiga games in here. Amstrad CPC, Apple II, Atari, Atari ST. Wow, this is incredible. So a lot of this stuff isn't what I would be playing. Just personally, I'm just not into these older computer games, but I know so many people that are. This is incredible. Wow. I mean, there's stuff in here that I've never even heard of. Now, Macintosh definitely piques my interest, though. Wow. I mean, this is like a history lesson in retro gaming. Microsoft Windows 98. Now, this is going to take me back. We got to jump in here. Wow. Age of Empires. Blade Runner. Daytona USA. Played that on Windows 98 for sure. Fifth Element. I think I had that for PlayStation. Gangsters. This is incredible. So you can literally play whatever game you grew up playing, however you grew up playing it. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll find games that, I might have played one way, but I have to emulate it differently. And it still scratches that itch. But with this drive, man, you can literally play the exact same version that you grew up playing. The Roller Coaster Tycoon, remember those? So this is how I actually played Racer for the first time. And you can see how graphically this is quite different than one of the home console versions. Rogue Squadron 3D. Shadows of the Empire. So I had this game for the PC. Wow. This is absolutely mind-blowing. All right, we're going to keep it moving here. And we should be getting down to the last few collections coming up here for computer, and then we'll go out. So Scum VM, I talk about this all the time. There's so many great computer games there. That's really where gaming started for me. Wow, I mean, computer classics, incredible. So we're gonna go down to PC games now. So in here we have VR, we have Batman, Call of Duty, Doom, PC Games Arcade, Big Fish Games, all right, LucasArts. Let's see what we have. Wow. Full throttle, of course. You got to have full throttle in there. So LucasArts, you got full throttle on top there. You'll have like your Max and Sam. We have racing games here, RPGs, run and gun. This is just unreal. So 24 terabytes is massive, but when you start adding like Xbox games, PS2 games, PS3 games, I mean, the amount of PS3 games that we had, you quickly start filling up terabyte after terabyte with just those collections. So when I saw 24 terabytes, yes, it's massive, but I didn't expect it to include what it includes here. This is insane. So we have imports here, and I'm going to speed it up here because I know that this video is going to be super long, but look at all this stuff. This is insane. So these are just going to be imports. And what a lot of game drives do is they'll add like these PS2 Japanese titles, which we can. So this is crazy, but what a lot of game drives will do is they'll take all of these foreign collections and they'll just add them to the regular ones. So your Sega Master System collection, instead of having, say 900 games, I don't know the exact count, but let's say 900 is the count. Instead of having that amount of titles, you'll end up with 3,000 because they're grabbing the foreign releases and putting them in there together as well. So I like the fact that Chris has made it its own category on here. So if you're looking for Sega Saturn foreign releases, you just go to that collection and locate them. You don't have to comb through them every time you go into the Sega Saturn main collection. So magazines, we can go into magazines here. And you can go through and find exactly what you're looking for. Like if you want PlayStation magazines, you can find those here. Dreamcast, Mad Magazine, even Retro Gamer. It's insane. All right, we're going to back out. We have book manuals too, which I would definitely want to just kind of tour through. So let's look for like N64, just as an example. We'll find N64. I'm sure it's in here. There it is. N64, we'll select that. Now we can go in here and we can locate the game that we want. So WCW NWO Revenge would be what I'm looking for. You go in here and you can find exactly what you're looking for. So take a look at this. Literally going page by page through the NWO, or excuse me, the WCW NWO Revenge manual. So if you're not sure about the controls, you just go in here and you can check everything out. You can figure out, unlockable characters in certain games. For me, it's just fun to look at all the pictures and to see like merchandise and stuff from back then. I mean, this is really incredible to have this option on here. So really blown away by that, but we'll back out. We'll go down. We have the board titles here, which we can scroll through them. I'm not going to dive into those. Insane. So Model 3, I mean, I said we weren't gonna, but we're gonna. Dirt Devils in here. You're going to have your Harley game. You're going to have your Star Wars and Jurassic Park in here. Ocean Hunters are a very cool game too. Kind of like an underwater rail shooter, I guess would be the best way to explain that. Star Wars Trilogy, that's my go-to game in Sega Model 3. We'll back out. Technoparrot, of course Technoparrot's in here. So this is your regular Technoparrot collection, but I saw here on the side, so like you'll have your light gun games in here, your rail shooters, stuff like that. But I saw that they made one for just racing games here. And there's a light gun specific one. So that's pretty cool. So racing games, there's so many great racing games. That's what Batman's a really cool one there. I don't know if I'd call that racing. That's like a racing rail shooter game. But cars, I would imagine that we're going to have Cruise and Blast. Great game. Daytona. Dirty Driving is an incredible game on here. The Fast and Furious games. H2O Overdrive is a good one too. This is what I mentioned before, Hydro Thunder. This is Hydro Thunder on steroids right here. Wild stuff, man. All right, let's take a look at I love the fact that they did make a light gun specific Technoparrot collection. To me, that just makes perfect sense. So we can go in here, you can find your Big Buck Hunter Pro, you can find your Alien games, Armageddon and Extermination, Buck Hunter World, and we should have like Far Cry Paradise Lost is here, Ghostbusters is here, Haunted Museum, those are cool. House of the Dead, Scarlet Dawn, you got the Jurassic Park here. Jurassic Park's my all-time favorite Technoparrot game. Lethal Enforcers 3. Really cool stuff here. Luigi's Mansion's in here. So we'll back out. What else is in here? Very cool stuff. There's so much, and I mean, that graphic right there, for me as an indie fan, is incredible. Some Judge Dredd. All right, so we'll back out. And we have Arcade Gunners here. This is a whole series of just your whole light gun, options here for different collections. So like PS3. Inside here, you're going to have your Time Crisis 3. You're going to have your Dead Storm Pirates, Raising Storm, Time Crisis 4. It's Time Crisis 4, not 3. 3 would have been for PS2, but we'll have it there, I'm sure, because I saw that was an option. So if we go over to PS2, we can go in here and we'll find Time Crisis 2 and 3, I'm sure. Yep, there they are. And Crisis Zone as well. Ninja Assault's a good one. Gunfighter 2 is a good one. Great stuff. All right, so what else do we have down here? We have these other collections here. We can scroll through. Boxing, Call of Duty, Looney Tunes, Doom, Disney. This would be the collection that my kids go into the most. And then down here we have the fan-made titles. So these are going to be a wide range of, exactly as it says, fan-made versions of games. And lots of collections that they belong to. So all your hacks are going to be in here. So if we go into like N64 hacks, you can see what the collection looks like. Some GoldenEye hacks. GoldenEye with Mario characters. I've actually played those. They're pretty cool. Mario's Nightmare 64. Very cool. All right, what else do we have? Down here, we're back to now this is our favorites. So you have your Switch, you have your Xbox, your Wii U, computer classics. So just another easier way to locate what you're looking for. But man, this is absolutely stacked. Now we have arcades. So let's go into, there's a bunch of different options to dive in here. Obviously, there's what I would call kind of subcategories, but I want to go into MAME here right on the front. Let's go into just regular MAME rather than favorites. Inside MAME, we're going to have 3,676 games. And there's logos for everything. There's video previews for everything. The marquee changes based on the title that you're currently highlighting. For the arcade fan like myself, this is the best collection imaginable on here. So I mentioned before Gauntlet Legends. Oftentimes you could only play console versions of that. Very hard to locate actual arcade ROMs for it. So we're going to put this to the ultimate test. And one thing I want to highlight here, we've got Area 51, the Duo Cabinet ROM with Maximum Force. Incredible. So this was a game that I played in the arcade, so this instantly resonates with me. We have regular Area 51, which is great, but this version right here where you can choose which game you play, incredible. So I'm going to hold this down, kind of tour through everything, but I want to get down to the G titles to see if Gauntlet Legends is in here. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm enjoying the scroll, to say the least. All right, so here we are down to the G titles right now. So Gauntlet should be coming up anytime now. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Gauntlets that pop up, and there they are. All right, so here we go. We've got the original Gauntlet right here. We've got Gauntlet Dark Legacy. We've got Gauntlet 2. And what do you know, my all-time favorite, Gauntlet Legends. Just seeing the entire arcade cabinet graphics there from the control deck all the way up to the marquee. This just takes me back. I got to grab my controller. I got to jump into this because I don't want to play on a keyboard for this one. All right, guys, we jumped into this setup today, and man, I am totally blown away. Chris Coolmod always does an amazing job. I've always been a fan of what he's put together in the past, but to me, this is his best work yet. I don't want to say criticism, but one of the downsides that I found with past drives was they were a little bit complicated to get up and running. I would still somewhat consider them plug and play, but you would have to go through a more intricate process for getting them up and running on your PC. This doesn't have any of that. This is a one-click installation, takes just a couple of minutes, and it's that easy. I mean, you don't have to have a background in emulation or PC gaming. You can come in here as a total newbie, follow the instructions, and get this up and running very quickly. Bear in mind, you're going to need a gaming PC for this. You're not going to want to use like a mini PC. Even the higher end mini PCs for what's included on here, it's going to be dicey. I'm sure you could get it to work with some things, with some mini PCs, but I would definitely recommend a higher end gaming PC that's intended for gaming use, not something that has gaming capabilities. So great experience though, tons and tons of collections. The one thing I will say is you may have noticed that at some point in here, I scrolled past like Xbox 360, Xbox, I think X or One, whatever it was labeled as, and I didn't jump into those collections. Now, those higher end collections, they're on here, but they're intended to be used with the larger capacity options from Chris Coolmod. So they're not going to be on the 24 terabyte. The collection exists, but it's meant to be paired with the expansion drives that you can get that would expand upon it and actually add the library in there. So there are no games in some of those collections, but that's why I chose not to highlight them in this video, because that's for if you got the higher end version of this, and had that extended storage capacity. So Xbox 360 is not on here. Same thing with Nintendo Switch. This has everything else though. This has all your other stuff, PS3, PS2, all that good stuff. So great options here. It also has your arcade collections loaded with games, everything that you saw here with the exception of Xbox 360, Xbox, and PS5 is going to be found on here. So great experience though. I think in a perfect world, I would remove those just so it's not even potentially misleading, but this is a stellar option right here. So price at the time of this recording, I'm going to just verify it. It is $936.81, which is not a cheap price. This is not to be compared with like a Kin Hank product or anything on AliExpress where, it's usually inferior products. Not that I want to say that they're bad. They're not bad, but they're not on this level. They're nowhere near on this level. Their front ends are pretty basic. The games are pretty much dropped in there. They're loaded with duplicates. If you've seen any of my reviews on these products, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This doesn't have all that going on. This is easy to navigate, easy to set up. This is fine-tuned and just customized to the fullest extent. I mean, you have great graphics. You have everything laid out beautifully on here. It's clear that the person that set this up, Chris Coolmod, put a lot of time into this, and it definitely shows. This is something you would put into a $5,000 custom arcade cabinet. This is a high-end product that has a high-end result and high-end experience. So big fan of what this has to offer. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's definitely going to be for some retro gamers out there that want to have it all at their fingertips, and you definitely do with this. So you can get this version, the 24 terabyte, but you can get the larger ones as well, which would unlock the Xbox 360, the Switch, all those larger collections. So definitely a lot of options to build upon this, but as it stands, it's still a stellar option from Chris Coolmod. I'll provide a link in the description of this video if you want to learn a little bit more about this RetroBeast 24 terabyte game drive right here. But I had a great experience. Couldn't be happier with this. And honestly, it's a blast to just comb through the offerings on here because it's jam-packed, loaded with tons and tons of games for any gamer out there. So huge fan. Check it out. You can also check out Chris Coolmod on YouTube. I'll provide a link in the description to his channel as well. That's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up on the video. On your way out, please hit subscribe as well if you haven't already to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the Chase Brogan YouTube channel. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.